George Ayittey's belief, Africa holds the solutions to its own problems. George Ayittey, a Ghanaian economist and founder of the Free Africa Foundation, has long advocated for an African-centric approach to solving the continent's problems. His perspective is rooted in the belief that Africa's development must be based on its own cultures, institutions, and resources rather than relying on external models and aid. Ayittey's ideas focus on empowering the so-called cheetah generation of young Africans who favor free markets and democracy over the hippo generation of old, corrupt leaders. This script delves into Ayittey's analysis of Africa's post-colonial challenges and his proposed solutions, emphasizing the importance of internal reforms and self-reliance. Post-colonial Africa, a landscape of crises. The story of post-colonial Africa is fraught with crises. From the widespread tyranny that persists in many nations to the economic stagnation and state collapses, the continent's trajectory since gaining independence has been marred by numerous setbacks. In 1990, Africa had only 4 democracies. Despite over 2 decades of reforms, this number has only risen to 15 out of 54 countries, indicating that the majority of African people still live under oppressive regimes. Economically, while there has been some progress, it remains marginal, with only a handful of countries achieving notable success. Similarly, the media landscape is bleak, with fewer than 10 countries boasting a free and independent press. Misguided leadership and cultural rejection. Ayittey argues that a significant reason for Africa's problems lies in the leadership's rejection of indigenous cultures and institutions. Post-independence leaders sought to impose foreign systems, often without regard for local contexts or traditions. This mimicry resulted in numerous ill-fitting policies and structures, from one-party socialist states modeled after the Soviet Union to grandiose but impractical projects like skyscrapers and basilicas in regions where they were neither needed nor sustainable. Such misguided attempts at modernization have left the continent littered with the remnants of failed imported systems. The failure of foreign aid. Foreign aid, totaling $30 billion annually, has not provided the anticipated relief. Ayittey highlights the significant leakages in Africa's economic system, primarily through corruption, which costs the continent $148 billion each year. Other major leakages include capital flight, $80 billion, food imports, $20 billion, and military expenditures, $20 billion. The total loss of $268 billion dwarfs the aid received, pointing to a fundamental mismanagement of resources. Despite attempts by the West to impose conditionalities on aid in the late 1980s, African leaders often circumvented these requirements, leading to stalled reforms. The rise of China in Africa. China's rapid growth in the early 2000s coincided with its increased engagement in Africa. Offering an alternative to Western aid, China wooed African leaders with promises of investment and trade without the strings attached. This led to a surge in economic ties, with trade between Africa and China growing from $10 billion in 2000 to over $100 billion by 2008. Chinese investments, particularly in infrastructure, were welcomed due to Africa's dire need for development in this sector. However, Ayittey criticizes the terms and tactics of these deals, which often favor China disproportionately, lack transparency, and are secured through bribery and secrecy. The need for internal solutions. Ayittey's central thesis is that the solutions to Africa's problems lie within the continent itself. He contends that African leaders must embrace indigenous systems and practices rather than relying on foreign models and aid. This includes reviving traditional governance structures, promoting free markets, and ensuring democratic accountability. By focusing on internal reforms and leveraging Africa's vast natural and human resources, the continent can achieve sustainable development and lift its people out of poverty. Embracing the cheetah generation. The cheetah generation, as Ayittey describes it, represents the young, dynamic, and entrepreneurial Africans who are committed to driving change through innovation and democratic principles. Unlike the hippo generation, which is characterized by corruption and inertia, the cheetahs are proactive and solution-oriented. Ayittey believes that empowering this generation is crucial for Africa's future. This can be achieved by creating an enabling environment for entrepreneurship, improving education, and fostering a culture of transparency and accountability. George Ayittey's perspective on solving Africa's problems emphasizes self-reliance and internal reforms. By rejecting foreign impositions and embracing indigenous systems, Africa can chart a path towards sustainable development. The empowerment of the cheetah generation is key to this transformation, as these young Africans hold the potential to lead the continent towards a prosperous and democratic future. In summary, Ayittey's message is clear: the solutions to Africa's problems lie in Africa itself, and it is up to Africans to harness their resources.
Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Want to be the first to know when we upload a new video? Tap the notification bell. And we love hearing from you. Drop a comment below with your thoughts and questions. Lastly, share this video with your friends who are passionate about the social issues affecting the African continent.